think this is step one. Step two, we mentioned certain holes have got to be fixed, other than this. 7, 11, I like 17 to be worked on. And my pet project is number 5. For those people who are here, and I see we have a few low handicap guys here, I think number 5 needs to be rethought without changing the concept of the hole.
Yeah.
Number 1, move the bunker to the fairway side. Not the bunker, I mean the
Bulkhead.
bulkhead.
Correct.
To the fairway side, so
Yeah.
instead of it sloping down, there was an occasion one time when I reached the 150, only to end up in the water. That was wonderful. And I got to drop on the other side, which is even a bigger mistake. But if we could put the bulkhead on that side, so that the fairway goes up a little bit, remove the bulkhead on the other side in front of the green, not all the way across where the drop area is, and not all the way across on the left. So just in case somebody seems to hit the water and gets a chance to skip it up,
Yeah.
the high handicap people might get a chance to get over in 2 or 3.
Yeah, it was almost like it was designed in reverse order, Lou, you know, in regards to the bulkhead should have been at the 150 marker on a slight upslope, and then at the green it should have kind of gone down to receive balls into that area. Larry can kind of speak more than I can, but I believe Miller Dotson talks about redoing the bulkhead in a couple of years on 5, Larry, or is that something totally different? That's a big project, I think, if we're looking to do that, probably.
But not just, in other words, this is fine. I like this. But now maybe the next step is, and it may take us a number of years to come up with money and ideas, that maybe certain holes have to be reconstructed for landing areas.
Oh, absolutely. 5 is, you know, 5 is absolutely a nightmare. You know, it's for 90% of the people that are here, it's unplayable, it's unfair.
I'm with the gentleman over there on number 11. Sometimes I wonder how that hole ever got built, that all of a sudden, you know, when you start getting rain and so forth, that hole is a mess.
Yeah. You know, the fairway used to be way over to the right over there.
I understand that,
Yeah.
it's not.
I know.
So,
And then when they lowered it so much, it made it so wet and so you know, flooded all over that way they couldn't use that area anymore as a fairway.
we've got a drop area. I mean, every time somebody goes in there after a rain, you get in the drop area.
Right, yeah.
So,
That's an issue, like you said, so is 5, you know, 7. Those are major issues that we need to address. And, you know, it's nice to finally see, you know, great, the clubhouse renovation is awesome, and they did a great job. And now it's going to be great to see some money put back into the golf course and improving that too. And I'm excited to see it. Heather?
Any other questions? Larry?
I agree with Bonnie and Lou that everybody that worked on this has done a great job. And I just want to throw out another thought is that back to our great hole number 5, and especially for the women golfers, there's over 180 women golfers in here that are in the gym system. The average woman golfer that turns in 18 holes at gym is 29.5. The average golfer of the women that turn in 9 holes, which is about 80-some golfers, if I remember right, is over 20, so that would be 40 for 18 holes. When you take that into consideration, that means that almost over 95% of the women that play golf in here get 2 strokes, and some of them, a lot of them get 3 strokes on hole number 5. So just moving the tee box forward in and of itself does not solve the issue, and there needs to be a lot more thought put into what, if we're going to spend the money to do that, there needs to be a lot of thought put into how do we accommodate the women golfers that we have in here that now are totally penalized, completely penalized for hole number 5.
Yeah, I agree.
It's totally unfair hole.
Yeah.
And,
Probably 2/3 of the guys too,
yeah.
you know?
So there needs to be a lot of thought put into that, and just moving that tee box forward 20 yards does not buy us anything.
No, it's not going to help. I mean, obviously the problem is in the carry over the water. You know, when we probably have 80% of the people that say can't carry the ball 130 yards in the air, that's the area that you have from the 150 to the green. You have that, you know, the retention pond in there. And other than filling it in and making it dirt and sod, you know, it's going to take an engineer and a bunch of architects to figure out what we can do with that area.
Yeah, because with our women golfers, there's 4 or 5 women that have a handicap of 14 to 18, and that's it.
Correct, yeah. We can't, we can't just, look at the better players, we have to look at the overall population and, looking at ways of improving the course, but that's definitely not making it harder, but making it more enjoyable for everybody to come out here and play, for sure, is what we're looking to do.
Any other questions?
I have one more, Jeff. Can we go back to hole 5? Can you bring that up? I'm a little confused on moving this cart path from the other side of the red tees. As I look at it here, all the shots, red, white, and green, have to go over the water. And then the red tees just
Red
up
tee
there,
marker's right there.
right about there. Now you're going to move that forward, as you said.
We're going to put it like, Fred, right there? Is that what we're talking? Roughly? Right where that drop zone is.
Yeah, but then why would we need to move the cart path at all? And the thing, it says you're gonna relocate the cart path. I don't understand why. We're gonna put the red tee forward, and all the other tees have to hit over the water. It seems like an undue expense to me.
I think it's getting it closer to the tee box is, the red tee box now is going to be in this location as the cart path. Currently, it's right here by the cart path, and there's, is it farther forward?
Right up,
Like there?
and the cart path's just to the left of it. Now
And
I'm
then
wondering
we're gonna
why
walk
we were
over
going
here.
to move it. Why move the cart path?
And move it there?
Wherever you're moving it. Why move the cart path at all?
Probably in direct relation, that's a wet area probably in through there. Kenny, that's a real wet area that we're looking to address. And by moving the cart path, or by moving the tee box left and over this way,
Yeah.
I think the thought was to bring the cart path over there so the ladies wouldn't have to walk from here to there or wear out this particular wet area that seems to be wet there all the time also. Is that kind of right, Fred? I mean, help me out with that one too.
Yeah,
That was kind of our thought process and the committee's
that
thought.
area is always underwater.
Right,
You go
yeah,
through
there's a big problem right in through there that's always wet. Also, as we know, right here by the pump house is always wet also there, that drainage area there and there are big problems that are real
They
wet.
just fixed that water problem and put a drainage area by that tee.
That's a start, yeah, that's a starting point that they did.
I still don't see the logic of moving that cart path to the right at all.
To putting it over there, I
Well,
think
it says move to the right.
Where the red line is,
here is the cart path currently, right?
Yeah, I don't see the logic of moving it at all.
to the right of that.
You're going to the right of it.
Was that what Ron Garl recommended, moving it there? Rework red tee and move forward top of the pond, and then relocate the cart path to the right side of the red tees.
Right now, the cart
Right
path,
now, Kevin, right there. Luke,
That's the cart path.
that's- Okay, back up.
back, okay, you're,
Stop, back up a little bit more.
This way?
That's the
a-
current red tee,
Right there.
and the cart path is to the left. So if you're gonna move
And we're talking about moving the tee box
there,
there.
so you don't really need to move the cart path.
Maybe you have to walk, well, yeah, we're gonna move the tee over to the left, I guess. Maybe they thought by getting it closer to the ladies' tee box. But you're still, the problem with that is you're still, again, like Larry had said, even moving this 20 yards closer this way is still not gonna solve that problem right there. That's something we need to look at as a committee. Nice thought process, it gets the ball more down and through here, but even still, at the 150 marker right there, that can carry over there, still 90% of the ladies can't hit it over there anyway, so we still really haven't solved the problem, I guess. Yeah, Jeff?
The problem is that's a irrigation line.
Well, there's a,
Kevin?
I mean, you can't fill it in, you can't, I mean, it's,
there's a big drain right there too, just in front of it where it's wet, right too, Jeff? Is there a drain like right in through there also?
I mean,
In that area?
I don't know where we're going with this as far as making a hole a little bit easier. I understand it's a very difficult hole, but I mean, we can't take away from Tommy's capacity for the sprinkler system, so that's an
Yeah.
irrigation lake.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
In terms of, give that to me again, go ahead again. Give me your point, I'm sorry.
The second pond there on 5,
Yeah,
that's Tommy's irrigation lake.
right.
Yeah, I know where the people are coming from. They're trying to make it a little bit easier. I don't know if we can fill in. I don't think we can take away from his capacity of water availability. is what
I don't think we're
I don't
talking,
want to fill it in at all.
I think we're talking about the bulkhead, which is right here, removing this bulkhead here, maybe sloping this somewhat down, and then either adding a bulkhead or slightly building this area up more, so you don't have a downhill lie. There's the 150, let's say, right here. If you're between here and the water and you're in that area, it's a downhill lie trying to hit it over to here. So I think they almost want to remove the bulkhead here and make this not necessarily uphill, but at least level.
Well, I totally agree with that. I'm just thinking.
I don't think you could fill it in anyway. I don't think you'd be able to fill in that area. I don't think that's going to be a solve anyway.
Okay.
But I mean, that area I think is always going to be there. I hate to tell you, I don't know if I told you, did I ever tell you what the FSGA suggested us do? They suggested us to make this hole a par 3 and hit it from the drop area and play it as 80 yards. How about that idea? Yeah, talking about ruining the hole.
Another thing was making a par 3 from the other side of the lake.
Playing it from like around the 150?
Or the,
Yeah.
to the left of the 150 yard.
Yeah, I mean, currently the way we play it, as you know, it's you know, not legal according to the USGA rules. You can't really take a ball and go forward to a drop area, but we have no choice. We'd be there all day.
Hold on, Fred.
A couple of issues on hole number 5. First of all, Lou brought up something about a plan to put a bulkhead in. If you look on one of the last things that we have in this presentation, a long-range plan. On hole number 5 is add a wall along the pond to extend the fairway towards the green on the fairway side. This will eliminate the downhill lie. But that's a long-range plan. Very, very expensive to do something like that. So anyway, there's a memo item in this report to do that. As far as moving the cart path, my understanding is many years ago, I wasn't here, but when they put that cart path in, someone who lived along over there on Dove Hollow Court paid a couple of guys a little bit extra money to move that cart path away from their house out towards the pond. And that's the way the cart path got into the left side of the red tees. Now, I'm not sure, I wasn't here, but that's information I picked up through the grapevine. What they're talking about doing is moving the cart path to the right of the red tees and moving the red tees a little closer to the pond. Right now, you don't have room to put the red tees to the left of the cart path without moving it quite a bit forward. So that's the reason for moving the cart path to the right, because get the cart path to the right of the red tees and you have room to make a decent red tee closer to the pond. That was the purpose of that.
That answers my question.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, it doesn't solve our problem with the second or third shot. You know, you get a little closer to the water, but still this area in here is what the major problem is. That is going to take a major project to solve that one.
Kevin, I got a comment. We could talk about this forever and never come up with a total plan here today. But one of the things it says in master plans is that if you have a problem, you work on solving it, like putting it, if it's too wet there or we got a drain in the way, don't let that stop you from looking at solving the problem, but solve the problem. If we have to move the drain, we move it. I mean, we can talk about this all day. The hole is unfair. They need to get the women involved and work on solving it. If we put it closer to the water, all we do is put more balls in the water.
Yeah, by by moving the ladies tee here, yeah, I mean, we're making it, it's currently there, you're moving it up to here. The ladies will get closer to here, but still, it's not solving the problem of the next shot going in the water, unfortunately. So, in a sense, thinking about it logically about moving the tee box forward, you're getting the ladies closer to the water, but they're still going to be carrying it over the water anyway to the drop area. So that might be a project we need to relook at and see if it really solves any problem, which I'm pretty sure it doesn't at this point.
Kevin, the one thing on 5, by moving the ladies' tee forward, for some of us, as Nancy Suter is one of them, and me on a lucky shot, moving that tee forward, actually, if the wind's at our back and we have a good roll, our first shot might end up in the water, so that we would then be dropping 2 on the other side. So for some of the ladies, moving the tee forward will help a little bit, Larry. But Larry, on behalf of all the Niners, thank you for speaking up, and all the 18-holers, all the women, that 5 definitely is not real fair for us. But thanks.
Any other questions? I've got one, and then hopefully maybe we can wrap up. But in our package, and I saw a copy of it here, in our package, and maybe Fred, you could answer, it shows, maybe I'll show it to you. It shows 2013, it has some capital projects, but I don't see any money attached to it.
We don't have the money for that. We do not have the estimate from the 2013 capital.
Oh, okay. Okay, so there might be some more money coming from capital in 2013 that we could put into the budget for next year.
I can get you a guesstimate on that, but I don't have it at this time yet.
Okay, okay. And then the final thing, I guess, for my clarification, and I guess the board is, so what we would expect for this April meeting is to be asked to approve the concept of this plan, and at subsequent board meetings, we'll be approving the money to complete the plan. Is that a correct understanding?
I think so.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions from the board? Or comments?
I'm still confused on the steps we have to go through to get this thing, to get the 7 projects on the agenda for 2012. What do we need to do? We got to go through reserve, finance, get board approval, the IRS, get the bids in. We want to.
Yeah,
what do we have to do?
Okay, well, the first step, and that's why I want to make sure we're all clear on that. The first step, it's my understanding, for this month's meeting in April, which will be April 25th, that we will be asked to approve this concept and by the way, it was an excellent presentation and an excellent job done by the committee. Outstanding. So the first thing is that the board will be asked to approve this concept. The board approves the concept. The next step then would be, once the money is determined as to how much is needed, some of it would go to the reserve, to get the reserve control committee to approve that money. The other portion, which would be capital, such as for the practice bunker, would go, Bill's not here, would need to go to the finance committee to get the capital approved. Then it comes to the board, and as soon as you can get that information ready, the board can approve it. And then you can start on it.
What would happen is, once the concept is approved by the board, everybody knows that's where we want to go. Then it goes back into the normal process. You would go ahead and go out with the RFPs, get the bids, make sure the RFPs are correct, and on the reserve side, it would come to the reserve. Because it's over $5,000, after we approve it, and there's no capitals involved in that, it would go to the board for the board to approve it. On the capital side, you would go out with the RFPs, and once you get all that done, then you would go to the finance committee, get them to approve the money, and it would go to the board for approval. That's the way.
Yeah, I guess I was just saying that the sooner you can get the RFP process rolling and get the money back in terms of bids and how much money needs to be spent, the sooner we can go to the board for approval.
Okay.
Yeah, the bids went out, Kev, last Friday, 4 bids, well, actually 3 bids went out last week ago Friday. We had one other company that bid it. We sent that out yesterday. I'm waiting to hear back from those folks, in which I will schedule a meeting with all 4 of them at the same time, give them a golf tour and talk about exactly what we're looking to do. So those bids packages are out. I'm just waiting to hear back from those companies if they're interested in bidding the project.
Okay. The only thing I would suggest to you is, in addition, what the board is going to want to know is how much, what are you going to do, and when is it going to be done by? Those 3 questions have got to be answered anytime you want money.
Yeah, it's in there, Jake. Like we had said, we're looking to start.
I'm talking about a final answer,
okay.
Not a concept.
Okay. Yeah, once we get all the bids back and we can get with a company that we decide that we're going to go with, that's going to do the work on it, then we'll have a final number and a start date. Yes.
Yeah. So once again, just to make it clear, so at the April meeting, the board will be asked to approve this concept. Okay. And after that, Then I guess it depends on when you get the bid information back in order to put together a proposal upon which you're going to be asking the board to actually spend the money. And as Jay pointed out, what you've already indicated, when it will be spent, et cetera, for this year at least anyway. At that point in time, once you have that information, then it needs to go to the Reserve Control Committee. Yes, Larry?
That needs to go to the reserve first.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. First, it needs to go to the Reserve Control Committee. Then, on the reserve side, then it needs to go to the Finance Committee for the capital side. And I used the example of the bunker. That's probably clearly a capital item. Larry may have to determine which some of the others, whether they reserve a capital. Anyway, once you have all of that, then it comes to the board to approve the spending. Once that happens, then you can go ahead with the project. Are we kind of clear on that?
Kevin?
Okay.
Other Kevin, I know the bids went out. I know the bids went out, but was there a date that the bids had to be back in?
Yes.
Okay, do you remember what that was? Yes.
We had to have them back in by April 31st, right?
Okay.
27th, I think.
27th of April,
I think.
in the letter.
30 days.
Yeah, so perhaps by the May meeting, then you can, during May, you can get it through the two committees and then come to the board for approval. Any other final questions before we wrap up? No? Okay, I just want to make one other commercial announcement that's similar to this, where we have the workshop today for the golf renovation plan. Next week, April 25th at 10:30, will be a similar workshop for the renovation of the remainder of the clubhouse. And that will include the billiard room, the mag room, the library, don't make it all, the pro shop, and the craft room. So, hold on, I've got a question.
April what?
I can do it from here. Good job and nice presentation. Nice job and good presentation. Thank you very much for the hard work.
Okay, that's it. Guess meeting's adjourned. Oh, I guess we need to vote on that, huh?
The mics work.
Oh, no? Okay.
How did you get the mics to work so well?
You gotta have influence.
I wish they worked like that all the time.
Oh, I'm sorry. So the meeting, by the way, the meeting on the 25th, the workshop meeting is at 1:30. I think I said 10:30, it's 1:30. And then the board meeting is at night at 7 o'clock. Thank you all for coming. Have a good afternoon.